Teen Minds Redefined. You're listening to the podcast with Cheryl Pankhurst.
Welcome to another episode of Teen Minds Redefined, where we have conversations and gain insights on how to redefine our relationships with our teenagers and how we support them in their journey to becoming their true, authentic selves. And my guest today is Marissa Lapadura. She is a mom navigating the beautiful chaos of parenting while pursuing her passion for acting and comedy. And this episode is a celebration of failure. How we can create space for it, accept it, and recognize it as an integral part of the journey towards success. Marissa is an expert on turning failure into a stepping stone for success. As we explore the transformative power of embracing our setbacks, we'll uncover insights that resonate not only with us as individuals, but as families navigating the challenges of adolescence. So welcome, Marissa. I thank you so much for this. I'm so excited. And the last minute in the car interview is because Marissa is heading to her stand-up comic gig in New York City, which is so exciting. And as I was thinking about this today, I'm thinking, well, isn't this a direct impact of your perception of failure? And here you are going to stand-up comedy. I think there's probably a great connection right there.
Yes. So my kids are still little. They're 5 and 3. But what I've learned most about being a mother is whatever I have for myself, it kind of automatically gets inherited by them. So if I have a healthy relationship with failure, it will just become theirs. You know, it's just kind of how parenthood works. Of course you teach and use words, but really the biggest surprise for me as a parent is if you heal yourself, you automatically heal your kids, or your kids automatically get whatever you healed. It's a wild ride, and it's a wild phenomenon that nobody told me. No one talked about this. And once I had kids, I realized, whoever you are and what kind of energy you're carrying, and even like your beliefs and everything, it just automatically, it gets funneled to them. Even if you're not actively teaching that, the energy is more powerful, and it is what they will tune themselves with, because they're learning, they're such sponges and they're so energetically open and a lot of times attached to the parents. There's this. And so that has really inspired me to work on my perfectionism and all my stuff that I had around failure, especially with my oldest, because I found myself unconsciously like wanting her to be perfect at things. And even little things like learning her letters, I found myself treating her how I was treated and how I treat myself. And that's when I really woke up and was like, oh gosh. And it's been such a phenomenal change. And I see the change in my daughter too, because even just teaching her ABCs, I was like upset and like discouraged when she wasn't just like immediately getting it, and she stopped wanting to work with me. She stopped wanting to be around me when she didn't want to do schoolwork anymore. And now I'm like so chill. When we work together, I am like just total, everything is progress. Everything is amazing. Like every mistake is, oh my God, you're learning. That's wonderful. And I'm just like I went from so like uptight and perfectionistic to so chill, so relaxed, and she loves doing her schoolwork now. Like she can't wait. She's so excited. So, I saw how that shift in me, it completely changed her outlook on school. And she's only 5. So school's, new to her. She's in kindergarten, but, so that was very eye-opening. And
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's funny because first of all, perfection's an illusion. I'm learning very quickly.
God, yes.
And what really drew me to when I started even following you was I had just done an episode on helicopter parents. I don't know if you recognize that term, just a hovering parent fixes everything. Yeah. I've been a teacher for 25 years and had this experience with fix-it parents for many years. And a big part of a big part of that podcast was the point of let them fail. Let them fail because they need to build those skills of oh, okay, you know what? This didn't go so well. My mom or my dad is here to, support me and have my back, but I can pick myself up. I've got the skills to dust myself off and move forward. And I also think if we're not letting them fail, then I feel like we're instilling in them this understanding that we don't have faith in them to come back from it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I really wanted to talk about that. And I love that your kids are young because it starts then.
Oh my God, it's such a confidence killer. And if the parents are afraid of their own failure and then their children's failure, they're not going to want to try anything. And because the stakes are too high. And like, what if you fail? It's like the end of the world. And what does that mean? And oh no. And it's like they're going to be so reluctant to get out there to maybe I'm going to try to be class president. They're not going to want to do that because it's a 50-50 chance they're going to fail. The stakes are too high. It's going to be holding your children back from wanting to get out there and live life and do things and experience and being on the journey. If failure is like this big, scary thing that, oh no, you have to be saved from. Instead, if it's like, no, failure is just part of it. Like, it's all good. It's so good. It's all cool. Like, failure is a part of success and it's not a bad thing. Like the power in that, the power to be like, oh, I've been failing since I was 5 years old. It's totally fine. I'm not afraid of it. It's all good. It's like a part of the process. And then like, just the power in that. What is there to be afraid of? Like, go for it. Because if you know in your belief system, it's like, oh, failing's fine. That's no problem. Then why wouldn't you try? Why wouldn't you go for it? And there's no fear because you know, and you were taught failure's totally cool. It's totally okay. We all do it. It's just, it's not even failure. Like the word failure has become such this like dark, negative like thing. And like, oh, you're a failure, or like you failed. And it's not really true. Like it's more nuanced than that. It's not this black and white, like you succeed or you fail, which is how I grew up. Like you're either going to be succeeding and be the best or you're like a total failure. It's not that black and white. It's much more nuanced. And I think if we can understand that, oh, failure is just a part of the journey. It's part of success. It's not the opposite of success. It's part of success. Then it's more welcoming. You just take all that scary stigma away. And, I always go back to this example, and it's been said 1,000 times, but like when the baby is learning to walk, we as parents usually are so excited, like they're fumbling and they're bumbling, and we're excited that they're fumbling because we know they're learning to walk. We're not like, oh, she's failing. She's constantly failing. This kid is bumbling and fumbling. We're like, oh, she's learning. Oh my God, we know she's going to get there. And we know the falling is part of the process. And at some point, failure just got twisted for adults, or we were taught differently at some point that like, no, this is a bad thing and you should be terrified. So it's all so very interesting. It's been such a journey for me in changing my own mind around it, because I was taught like, if you fail, oh no, oh God, it's like the negative thoughts and the spiraling and it was just such a, just didn't want to fail no matter what. And I love the idea of being like even my daughter, she fails all the time learning. It's not even failure. It's just part of learning. If you look at it that way, it's just part of the process.
Embrace it, embrace it, embrace it. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Can you share with me maybe a personal example of for you feeling like, oh, that was a failure, mind shifts. Now what? Can you give me an example for you?
Yes. Well, recently I went on stage and I used to have a ton of anxiety, like perfectionism. I think perfectionism and anxiety, for me, those two went hand in hand. They were like best friends, perfectionism and anxiety. So I worked really hard to get over my anxiety. I don't really have it anymore, but there was one time I went up and it just came back. I don't even know why. It sort of came out of nowhere. And so for me, when I'm on stage doing jokes, if I'm having anxiety, it's just a lot harder to be funny, like it's harder to be relaxed and have a good time. And, so it just, I immediately went to my old, routine of like rumination, running it over my head over and over. Oh no, I can't believe that happened. What happened? Why did that happen? Oh my gosh, what does this mean? Am I going back there? You know, it's like that old way of doing it, of like really focusing on the failure and catastrophizing it and beating myself up about it. And I consciously stopped myself and I was like, no, I'm like, no. And I consciously made myself think about all the good things that happened by going up there. And I made myself focus on all the good things and saying, this is just part of it. Like, it's okay. I made it okay. And I just immediately switched to the positive self-talk. And it was not natural because I'm so used to years and years of the like, what does this mean? Oh my God, I can't do this. You know, just the negativity. Mm-hmm. And I just went right back to, oh my God, you got on stage. You did it. Like, you couldn't do this a year ago. You actually got on stage. And what did you learn? Oh my God, I learned this about myself. I got this insight. I learned this. You know, I got so much information from that failure that it kind of wasn't even a failure because it almost just set me up for the next time, you know?
Yes.
So it was okay. And then I immediately just started ruminating all the positive. Like, you went on stage, you loved yourself anyway. I know that sounds cheesy, but self-love has been such a, don't abandon yourself in those times instead of totally like self-abandonment of like negativity and the shame and the blame. I just like went in and loved myself even more. Like, you're human. And like, I love you so much. Like, I know it sounds cheesy, but it's really been helpful to just, it's like an excuse to love yourself even more. Like, okay, that didn't feel good. You didn't like that, but how can you love yourself even more? And then it kind of makes the situation into a positive because you're loving yourself and that feels good. And you know, it's the resilience. Like, it's okay. The world didn't end. Like, let's look at this a different way. The world didn't end. It's okay. Like, this happened, but all these good things also happen. And really realizing that the world wasn't over. And I went back. I didn't stop doing stand-up comedy. I went back and the next week it was great. And so it was like, oh, that was just part of the journey. Like, and then it makes it easier and easier for things to go wrong. And I find for me too, I mean, I'm a huge humor person, but if something really embarrassing or something happens, like if you can make it funny or find the levity in it, then it's like a true gift. Like, if you can laugh at yourself, what is better than that? And like, people really relate to failing and all this stuff. Like, everybody has been through it. So if something like happens, you fail really bad or something, and you just really wish that didn't happen. If you can tell that story and make others laugh or share it with others, for me, it's like a win because we just all connected around that. We've got laughs. Like, everybody can understand that it's like a human experience. And then it was made into something beautiful. So I always try to find the humor, and then maybe I can even bring that on stage next time. Or even if I'm with a friend who's down, like, I can tell them my story and now they're laughing. And so it's kind of like that alchemy, like nothing really ever is awful. You're either learning something, you have a great story to tell your friends, you realize, oh, this is just speaking to me. Like, I need to do something different next time. You know, I need a change of direction. That's all this was. This was actually a gift because I was going down the wrong route, and this quote unquote failure just let me know, oh no, not this way. This is not the path. You know, it's like, there's always something good to be, you know, it's just information.
So if you were to transfer that, and I agree with you with the humor, and I always, working with teenagers for so many years, my connection with them was always humor. And it was usually them laughing at me, not laughing with me, but that's such a great connection. I love that you made that. If you were to transfer what you were just telling me, you know, about self-awareness and refocus, if you were to transfer that into some nuggets for a parent to say to their teenager, how would you kind of reframe that or give them some tips on redirection, refocus, self-love? So
I think it starts with the parent first. So if the parent has done their own work around their fears or judgments around their own self-failing, yes, and their own work about how they really feel about their kid not being perfect and how they really feel about their kid maybe not doing so well or failing in some way, I think if they do their work first and really look at those unconscious, maybe it's hard to see, but maybe they don't want to be embarrassed, or maybe there's a social thing going on and this kid's doing that and that kid didn't make this team. And maybe deep down, you really want, you're not okay with your kid failing. Maybe, it's hard. Maybe you're not seeing it or it's more unconscious, but I think you really look inside at yourself. Then I think it's more instinctual. And if you really have done your own work and you're really cool with it, then I think it's naturally going to come out in what you say to your kid, and they're going to feel it too. And, they're going to feel it if you've done your work around it and they really know, oh, they're chill with this. They're cool with this. Like, they're really not upset. Like, they're unconditionally loving me no matter what. You really have that. They're going to feel it. And then the words that you choose to say are going to be the exact right words that you need to say. It's just going to be kind of instinctual. But if somewhere deep down, you have your own stuff when you were in high school and your parents didn't accept you and you were devastated when you lost in the championships and you're still holding on to that stuff, to me, it's hard for that not to come out in parenting. And even if you're trying your hardest to say the right words, I mean, that's helpful. But I feel like that underlying belief you still have, or the pain or the wound, is still going to come out. And I feel like the kids are going to know that and they're going to feel that. So to me, the advice is look at yourself and really become really honest. And there's no judgment, but this is just for your kid's sake, just be really honest. Like, if she failed in front of everyone, in front of the whole school, am I okay with that? Or am I embarrassed? Or do I have a wound from 1998 or whenever it was when I lost in the champ? Like, am I still really wanting my kid to be like the best ever? Do I still want them to be like the star? Like, or am I okay? Just really looking to see if you have any of those beliefs. This way, it's not coming out, any of your old wounds aren't kind of coming out in your parenting, and the kid can really trust you and know that, okay, this is clean. Like, they mean what they're saying. They're not just saying the words, but inside they're panicking, or inside they're devastated for me, or inside they don't think I'm going to be okay. Or because always the kids feel it. Like, you can say the right words, but if there's something else going on inside behind the words, they're most likely going to be feeling more what you're feeling than what you're saying, in my experience. So my advice is look inside and look at yourself as a parent and see where you still have your own stuff around it. Cause I'm sure all of us do, and I feel like that's always been the most helpful in parenting, is to look at yourself first. And then you can be honest with them. You could be like, when I was your age, or I was freaking out, or you don't have to be perfect as parents. And especially teens, I feel like they appreciate that honesty. Like, I think I'm still recovering when I played that tennis match and my dad wouldn't speak, or was really disappointed in me, and I don't want that for you. I'm still learning, but I want this to be different for you. And maybe we can work on this together. And I don't want you to feel the pressure I felt. Like, I feel teens really relate to that. And because it's so honest and authentic. And then, so you don't have to have the right words. You're just being real and honest. And I think that's the best you can do.
That is so insightful. And I'm totally resonating, because I'm thinking back to, oh, my kid has to get on this team, or my kid has to get into this class, or my kid has to get to this university. And it's always been like, is it them? Is it you? Is it them? Is it you? Are you living vicariously through not, doing your dream and doing your performance and doing it, and we all, I find too, like sometimes parents don't allow our kids to stand on their own and just push from below and just kind of shine on their own, and not, oh, she got that from me and she got that from him and she took this. Just allow them to step up on their own. And I love that you're saying that, because work on yourself first, because you're right. There could be that deep down, oh my gosh, she didn't make the team. Oh my gosh, she didn't make the shot.
Is she going to be okay? Oh no, the poor thing. And if they don't know that, they're going to be okay, then they're going to be like, oh no, like, this is serious. I lost the shot. But if you're like, you're fine, you lost the shot, it's totally cool. Then they build the confidence. But if you're like, oh no, oh my gosh, oh, is she okay? This is horrible. She's going to be like, Mom's scared for me. Oh my gosh, this is really serious. But if you're like the potential to build their confidence of like, put the focus on them. Like, how do you feel? Like, how did you interpret that? What did you think about that? But if you're sort of like clean, like you're not adding to the fire of like, my poor kid, what am I going to do? It's just adding to their it's affecting their emotion. And just what a great gift to let the confidence building of like, I believe in you. Even when you fail, go out there and fail. I still believe in you. You're going to do great things. You're going to do great things. Like the confidence of that, to go out there and be like, my mom's cool if I fail. Like she knows I'm going to get there no matter what. And just the confidence of that. And like, I'm okay with you fail because I know it's just building you up. Like the gift that is for your children instead of there might even be a little bit because like I said, I had a lot of anxiety and I had to really work, but like, I worried about my mom. Like, if I fail, how is this going to affect her? She's going to be devastated for me. And I didn't want my mom to be devastated for me. So I had an extra baggage of like, well, I might not go out for that team because if I don't fail, she's going to be worried. If I don't make it, she's going to be worried for me, or she's going to worry if I'm okay, or she's going to be sad for me. And now I'm dealing with her emotional stuff. It's too much. Like, I don't even want to try out, but like if the parent is like, I'm so proud of you. You actually tried out. Now, what else do you want to do? Like, let's focus on you. What are your feelings about this without the parents kind of getting muddled in the kid's experience? I think that's such a gift to give them that independence. And I'm here to support you and I'm with you and I will always be here. I'll have your back. I'll support you. I'll talk you through things. But I'm supporting you in your life.
Yes.
And this is about you.
And when you're talking about confidence, what's kind of taken me down a path is not just making the team or passing the test, but now I'm thinking the social circles where you fail, quote unquote, in a friendship or a peer group, or fitting in or getting invited to the party. Like all of that bleeds into the perception of failure.
Yeah, it does, and that's such a painful experience for kids. So I'm trying to teach my kids this really early. That because it happens young. I'm noticing in pre-K, there's already, and I think it's kind of developmentally normal, but already I find it's happening like, you can't play with us, or we're friends and you're not our friend. Like I found that I've already experienced that with my little kids, and what I'm really trying to, and I panicked because oh my gosh, like I've experienced that growing up and it was so painful, when you're not included and I know what not to do is to, yes, this is so horrible. Oh no, what are you going to do? Nobody likes it. Is not to join them in their panic and pain. I know that for sure. Do not do that because that just made it worse for me. That made it like, oh no, this is really serious and there's something wrong with me. And what I've been telling my little kids is, that's totally okay. Like that's going to happen. And that's very normal. Like it's normal for people not to like everybody. Like you're not going to like everyone and people aren't going to like you. You're going to go up to someone at the playground and ask them to play. And sometimes they say yes. And sometimes they say no. And that's okay. That's totally okay. And just really like letting her know. And even teenagers, that's okay. This is life. You're not going to love everybody and not everybody's going to love you. And it doesn't say the most important thing. This is not personal. It might seem so personal. It's not. It's not personal. You don't know what is going on. And I think the most important thing is it's not you. It's not them. Like, yeah, these kids don't like them. That's okay. You'll find kids that do. You will. There's so many people in the world. You will find your people. And just I think the most important thing is to not take it on as what's wrong with me, because nothing is wrong with you or them. It has nothing to do with them. Mm-hmm. And if they're getting excluded and they know truly it's not them, I think they'll be empowered. Like, okay, that sucks. I'm sad. I could feel my feelings. I really want to be around them. I can't. If you can let them have their feelings and feel it. I feel sad, but also know if they know it's not them, there's nothing wrong with them. I think they will move through their feelings and then they can move on. They can move on. Mm-hmm. They can move forward and they won't be so harmed because it's not them. I think that's the most empowering lesson is it's not you. There's nothing wrong with you. These kids, these girls don't like you. It is what it is. I know that sucks. That stinks. But I think if you empower them with the confidence of like, but that has nothing to do with you. It could be so, depending on the situation, it could be a million things that you just aren't privy to. And that core of knowing that they are good and they are okay, and their parents know that they're good, and their parents know that they are okay, and their parents know that they are strong and that are with them in it, knowing like, I'm sorry, I know this is hard, but I also know that you're awesome. And I'm not worried that these kids don't like you. You're going to find your people and it's going to be awesome. You're not going to care about this in a week or a month or next year, like just that if you hold the confidence for them, let them know nothing is going wrong here either. I know it's a little bit painful, but nothing is going wrong. I think just that lifts so much of the trauma that's possible. Like, it's just a blip in the radar. This is life and it happens not only to you, it happens to so many people, So this way they don't feel ostracized. They don't feel like something's wrong with them. They're not taking this too serious. They're not letting this like become a part of their mental belief system. Like, it's just light. And my mom's, and they could feel upset about it. Be angry, be pissed, be sad, you be all of that. But at the end of the day, like, this is just kind of part of it and it's okay. And you're going to find your people and you're such an awesome person. And again, this isn't just you. It's not like an isolated, and especially in the teen years, you feel so like seen and, like on
oh my gosh, yes,
insecure. And I think if you could just kind of let them have their feelings, but also hold that confidence and not make a big deal about it. And I know this is sad. I'm a little sad for you too, but you're so awesome. Like all of that. And just especially knowing like there's nothing wrong with them. It's not them. I think that really makes it easy to kind of move on from that kind of stuff. Cause then it's just like, okay, I still have myself. I still know who I am as a person. I still, I know I'll find my people and they can move on.
And I always think it's funny. I'm thinking, and if we point out to them, do you like everybody in your class?
Yeah.
Would you be partying with all these people? No. Why? Well, because they're not your people. We just resonate with some and we don't with others. And feel the feelings is so important for sure.
And it's like, and just like, we're not going to resonate with everybody. I mean, some people were living in very different energies. It's not even personal. It's not even about like, she likes me and he doesn't like me. And a lot of times you have someone like that, most of the time, and I know people say this, but it's the truth. Most of the time, if you have like a hater type situation where someone's actively hating someone else, that person is so miserable. Like, or they truly do want what you have and they feel they can't have it. So they're going to take all their pain around that and just like throw it at you. It's just projection. It's not them. And that is such it's such a truth. Most of the time, if you have a hater situation, it's that person is miserable and it makes them feel a little bit better to just unleash some of their pain on you. It's not personal at all. Doesn't make it okay, but most of the time that's what's happening. And if that person was truly happy, even if they seem confident, if they were truly happy and in their joy, it just doesn't match up. You can never hurt someone that way. If you were really joyful, you would never be throwing pain at someone if you were in your joy. It's not possible. It's not possible to be joyful and be like hurting someone. So if it helps at all, that person is in pain. They're stuck. They can't get out. They don't know what to do. So they're just lashing out, projecting on people that trigger them, or it's all about them. It's not about you. And I feel like knowing it's not personal kind of helps. And even like you were saying, you don't resonate with everybody. Like some people's energies vibrate like this and some people's energies vibrate over here. And it's not even like a like or dislike. It's just like, we're in different energies and that's okay, but we're not going to hang together because there's going to be a disconnect. It's just not going to flow. Like I want to hang with people who are vibrating in my energy, So it's just kind of like part of life. And same, like you were saying, like, you're not going to want to hang out with some people. And that doesn't make you a bad person. You're just not connecting. And you don't have to make yourself hang out with people where you're not really enjoying their company, not because they're bad people, because there's not that connection or that resonance. And that's okay. Don't force yourself to hang with people where, it's not working. And there's just so many people and so many different experiences that's just how it is. That's just life.
Yeah. Not just for teenagers.
Yeah.
Applies to all of us until we're dead.
Yes. Yes.
That's excellent advice. And I think I love that parents, most of this audience, I believe are parents of teens, but I encourage parents to get their teenagers to listen to these podcasts because, and I know I can just picture it. Oh, hey, honey, can you come and listen to a podcast with mom? Oh, that's lame. Not doing it. But if you're bribing them and you have to drive them to the mall, you might just put them on in the car. Forced forced listening. So I know we kind of went down this pathway on social failures. Can we wrap up? What is your biggest couple of points that you want parents, and I know you're a parent of younger kids, but parents, period, to really think about when they are, kid comes home and has a test the next day, is worried about failing, or going to try out for the team, worried about failing. How are we able to really give them some mindset shifts on that grit?
I think for me, especially like I have a lot of friends. I had my kids late, and I have a ton of friends with, and my nephews and niece are teenagers, and a lot of friends that are doing the college thing. And the pressure on these kids, it's not like when I was growing up. Like everything is so serious, and to get into college, it's like everything is so high stakes. Like everything is extreme high stakes, and it's like you have to be this like amazing, well-rounded, straight-A student, and then the president of this club and sports. It's the pressure is so astronomical. Mm-hmm. And I think as a parent, it's like lighten it all up. I think that's the best thing you could do as a parent, is like lighten it as much light as you they have so much pressure on them. And it's like, if you could just be there for them, but also take as much pressure off. It's okay. It's going to be fine. We'll get through this. Don't worry. No matter what happens, it will work out, because ultimately that's the truth anyway. And I really just think if the lighter you can be, like as much pressure, and especially kids, a lot of times they're so serious today, and they want to do so well, and they put so much pressure on themselves. It's like, I really think that would be the best thing, is have a sense of humor with your teen. We could just laugh about it, like bring in the humor, joke about it. Like, you'll just be working at McDonald's forever, whatever. I'll buy fries from you. Like bring some levity, like just take the pressure off them. Like, it's going to be okay. And let them know, like, you're not concerned. I'm here to support you. I think that's because they're trying, most of them that I see are trying so hard anyway. Like I see a lot of like intensity, and they're not just like watching TV, and they're just like these kids that just want to do well. And I think that would be my number one, is just let it be okay. Let all the failures be okay. We'll try again, and it's okay. And what did you learn? And that's so awesome. If that didn't happen, you wouldn't have learned this, like just really lighten it and let them know you're not concerned. Hold that fort down for them. I'm not concerned for you. I know it's going to work out. That is such a gift when you have when you're freaking out and you have someone that you trust being like, I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all. I know this is totally going to be fine. I think that is such a gift. So not joining their fear, not joining their chaos, their worries, like being that safe, confident, make it light. I think I would say that would be my biggest piece of advice.
I love that. And I also want to remind parents that when the kids are little, we can usually tell when they're stressed out, because they're doing things that, are communicating that. But when we get to working with teenagers, sometimes they internalize so much, we have no idea. And so we're not doing what you're saying because we have no idea they're feeling this pressure.
Right.
So even to almost assume there's probably pressure here, let's talk about it. I think it's a really good idea, because I do find, I didn't know, she didn't tell me. And why is she acting out this way and that way? Well, maybe assume all of these decisions to make, and the pathways to take, and courses to take, and all of that. There's pressure. Assume there's pressure, and recognize it, and maybe start talking about it before the explosion happens, or before, the stress happens.
Yeah. And even if they're grumpy, instead of being like, oh my God, you're a teenager, you're so annoying, I hate this stage, you're so mean to me. Like maybe, like you were saying, assume, oh man, she's probably, or there's probably some stuff under there. Like she's irritable. Like it's maybe assume, because they're not going to talk to you, and it's going to come out, and like, Mom, leave me alone. Like it will come out in those ways. And then assume, all right, let's either try to talk or bring in some levity, or try to take some pressure off, or realize maybe that's their way of communicating, since they're not going to maybe come and be like, Mom, I want to have a heart to heart,
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's great. I so appreciate this conversation, and it went deeper and a little more sideways and more insightful than I even expected. So thank you for that. Can you tell us now, Marissa, where we're going to find you?
Oh, yes. So I'm on Instagram. It's my podcast name, which is Embrace Failure, Welcome Success. So that's my new Instagram. And so you can find me there, and I'll be posting some of my comedy on there, and hopefully I'll be acting some more soon, and I'll be doing it imperfectly. And maybe I'll even post some of my failures. Honestly, the bloopers are some of the funniest. Sometimes the bloopers are the funniest part. So I'm really going to share my journey of the successes and the failures, and and hopefully one day soon I'll be on stage more. But for now, it's my Instagram. So you can find me there.
Well, I'm going to put all of this in the show notes. And again, I thank you so much. This was such a good interview. I had so much fun. I did watch a clip of your YouTube, and you are very funny.
Oh, thanks. You did?
I certainly did. I certainly did. Well, I will let you get to your gig. Thank you again. And we'll check again later.
Okay. Thanks so much, Cheryl. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us on this last episode of Teen Minds Redefined. And I am so grateful to our guest, Marissa Lapadura. You can check out the show notes and any connections you have to her. Thanks again.
Teen Minds Redefined with Cheryl Pankhurst. New episodes out every Wednesday. Thanks for stopping by.